So Portugal and Australia, the ball final. These two teams have actually met on 16 occasions. Australia have won 13 out of the 16 ties played. Portugal last beat Australia. They played semi-final 19 points to 10 in Twickenham 2009. Well, Pedro Neto, Portugal selects the one change in the side that beat Canada in that semi-final. Number 12, Pereira, comes back into the starting lineup. Keep an eye out for Matheus on the wing. And the little man who plays the strings, Pedro Leal for Australia. Well, Michael O'Connor's team were runners-up in the Gold Coast with a 1914 win. They got through to this final. Lewis Holland already has 5 tries to his name. Watch out for the dynamic running of Shannon Walker, who's on the wing. The side is captained by Ed Jenkins, the player of the tournament last time out when the Sevens were played in the Gold Coast last month. Well, on the left there, Pedro Leal. Right is Ed Jenkins, captain of the Qantas Australian Wallabies.
I think the Wallabies will be pleased too with the way this tournament has unfolded for them. Perhaps a slowish start, but then they really got things going, and a terrific victory that they had against Samoa to get through to this final.
Referee Rhys Thomas, I was speaking to him earlier on, and he's delighted to be refereeing this final. The sun obviously well down, and the atmosphere just continues to envelop everybody in this wonderful arena. Pedro Leal will kick off for Portugal. Sean McMahon looks on. Sorry, Luke Morahan looks on. And the all-important kickoff, always height on the kickoff. And as I mentioned in the opening there, Portugal on a great run of 3 wins over France, Russia and Canada. Can they keep it going over the Gold Coast runners-up? That's Australia. The ball taken by Luke Morahan there, but turnover ball here for Carl Murray and Portugal. David Matheus takes the ball into the contact. Look how strong Matheus is, but the Australians trying to hold him off to get the turnover ball. Well, did he get the ball down on the ground to retain the possession? No, he didn't, says referee Rhys Thomas.
Very good recycling initially from Australia, but then they turned the ball over. So once again, showing the importance of protecting the ball. So they have another opportunity, but inside their 22.
Crouch. 5. Set.
So this is Shannon Walker. Watch Walker, always strong on his feet.
This man, play.
Luke Morahan goes over to try and play it, but plays it illegally.
Holding.
So the tap and restart. David Matheus will it be, but into Pedro Leal. Look how Portugal just set this play with Pedro Leal, the little playmaker there. And Leal, he's an outstanding performer. 1 try, 5 conversions to his name. Top point scorer for Portugal. Now Estevez. Estevez goes for the line. Brilliant tackle by Australia. Well, Luke Morahan might well get a yellow card for coming in from an offside. That was cynical from the Australian.
You're too late, off you go.
Yep, too late, and essentially in that position too. Some clever play there from Leal. Estevez is the go-to man always with the driving runs.
So man up, this is Estevez. Estevez bumps, barrels and goes over. Try time for Portugal, and they continue to surprise everybody with their performance in this tournament.
Captain, let's get your players out the way now, okay?
Well, Australia should have realised that this was the route that they were going to go, and well, Shannon Walker doing the covering there, but he didn't make the initial tackle, and of course he's a tall fellow, is Estevez, and with enough power to get over. That's a really good start that for Portugal. Leal will want to try and get this conversion over. Kicks become so vital in knockout.
Leal Just drifting on that outside post, but Adreto Estevez, he's such a long and rangy runner, and the way he was able to skip out the tackle, and with that man in the bench, Luke Monaghan, he played against the British Lions for the Queensland Reds. He's a full Wallaby international, has great experience, but on that occasion has cost his team.
Back!
So Leal sets off, sets the pattern. Note how the ball's brought back into Manuel Costa. Costa steps, burls, pass off to Estevez, the try scorer. Australia good in the tackle, trying to hunt down that space, close it down. Manuel Pereira slots the ball on the other side. Cross kick then by Manuel Costa to the far side. How's the bounce? Well, Shannon Walker gets there. So Walker sets off downfield, down the tram lines he goes. But the pass was, well, it just didn't find its target.
Yep, he wasn't alive. He didn't have enough peripheral vision there to see that there was a man on his outside, so waited for the contact, when maybe he should have made the pass a little bit earlier. He is dynamic, this fellow. If he gets an opportunity, watch him.
Shannon Walker of the East Tigers Club, 25-year-old. He's a contracted sevens player. He's had experience playing rugby league as well. Was out in Moscow for the Rugby World Cup Sevens back in June there. Ball taken by Pereira. Now what can Murray do in the centre? Ball taken back against the grain. David Matthias clung on by Sean McMahon. On the far side, Miguel Lucas of the GDS Casques Club goes down on the deck, and you'll note how it's Portugal who've commanded possession, but straight away the break by Tom Lucas. Now Lucas, his brother Matt, played for the Australian Wallabies as well. Ball then for the six-man Australians. Paul Asquith cuts back. Leal has his boots, he has his legs, gripping onto anything he can get hold of. Now Australia, can they recycle the ball? Yes they can. Shannon Walker, try time for Australia as Tom Lucas and Australia with six men down between the sticks, and with a conversion to come, and with Luke Monaghan back on the pitch, restored to seven men, Australia have got the opportunity to take the lead.
Well, first up try then for Tom Lucas, who's had a very busy weekend, but Portugal will be kicking themselves with the one-man advantage. They were not able to press it home, and in fact rather conceded 7 points if that conversion is good.
So Paul Asquith from the Southern Districts Club, he's popped over the additional 2 points. One of the Australians, but overcooks that one. Others in the abbreviated game, it's just a tap restart from the halfway line. And again, you'll notice that Pedro Leal, he sets and plays the piano, so he'll tap and go. Support of Manuel Pereira. That's the 10-yard line to the left of your picture. David Matthias. Matthias well tackled there by Ed Jenkins, the Australian skipper.
Advantage.
Well, a loose ball, a knock on there from Manuel Pereira.
Knock on.
Australia are finding themselves on the front foot most of the time here, because Portugal are playing fairly deep, and it's quite difficult if you don't have a real speedster that you could unlock somewhere along the line. So it's making it a little bit easier for Australia.
Back on.
Well, Australia had a confident winning boost this morning, overturning the US of A by 47 points to 7, and when they took Samoa by 19 points to 14, there was real confidence coming into this final. But Portugal have shown just what a handful they are.
Bind. Set. Up we go.
Bit messy in the scrum. It's what we're used to at 15s, not at 7s.
Guys, let's close the gap. Let's be steady. Crouch. Bind.
Look at big Estevez on the side. He's a winger in 15s.
McMahon, Foley and Jenkins in that front row for Australia. Shannon Walker, will he back himself? Shrugs off the attentions of the Portuguese defenders. Now there's space out here for Australia on this near side. A slip there by Sean McMahon. McMahon, who's a 17-year-old, played for the Wallabies. It's 7-a-side code, and you know, you consider that he's still 19 years of age. He's already got a lot of experience under his belt. Pedro Real, he's quite happy with the scoreline at the moment. Doesn't want to concede or take the opportunity of scoring at the other end. So Australia edge Portugal by 2 points in this opening half of this bowl final. 7 points to 5 in Australia's favour.
Much earlier.
Aderito Estevez there, one of the colourful characters. He can really be a handful, as we've seen him with the his 4th try of the weekend for Portugal. Paul Asquith shouts out where this kick's going to go. His father and grandfather involved with the Kiyama RFC. Made his debut at Tokyo last season and absolutely nails a super start for Australia. Ball knocked back to the Portuguese players. Leal will pick this one up. Just a gutsy little player, isn't he? Something always happens when he gets his hands on the ball. Tap and go by Matheus. Oh, he backs himself, but Australia get back to cover, reset the possession. Oh, good hook line defence by Australia, out of picture. The defensive line for Australia come up so Portugal couldn't play the wide ball. And again, Matthew Costa, he has to go back. Costa takes the ball into contact along with David Matheus. There's Costa just going over the top of the ball.
That's the tackle, entry.
Well, Manuel Pereira, he was told by referee Rhys Thomas that he couldn't go and pick that ball up.
Where you are. Entry. Yeah, let's go please, Captain.
So Ed Jenkins taps and goes. Wrap around move. There's some space on the far side here. Jolyadev takes it into the contact. Recycle possession now through Lucas first of all. Now Australia using the full width of the pitch. Luke Morahan gets his captain Jenkins back in. Switch play by Australia. Lucas brought to deck with a super tackle by Manuel Pereira. Now there's a gap here. Is it taken? Well, the pass, well, it's just caught. Super hands there on the far side. Paul Asquith initially. This is Ed Jenkins. Portugal clinging on and defending strongly. Well, Gavin Carley, excellent defence from Portugal. They were stretched there.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, Greg Jolyadev is on the field. Obviously, he's the sprinter taking the place of Shannon Walker. But Portugal will be very keen to get out of their half of the field right now.
Well, clever kick by Estevez. He's just given up the possession, though, covered by Paul Asquith. Australia just finding a little bit of room. This is Sean McMahon. He's got 2 jerseys outside him in the shape of Paul Asquith, and the big run in there from Luke Morahan. Morahan makes amends for being put in the sin bin in the first half. Think he was in there, Gavin?
Tight, very, very tight. The referee, of course, has a chat to the assistant referees, to both of them, and gets the confirmation from them. So in the corner then is Luke Morahan. And that's a vital score that for Australia in a very, very tight game. But it seemed like a very tired Portugal defence after that little kick through from Estevez. And Sean McMahon found plenty of space. And then enough gas here from Luke Morahan.
Morahan still had an awful lot to do, didn't he? But he went in low and he went in long and he went in with speed.
Move, please. Time back on.
Paul Asquith 6 conversions already over the weekend. Has he got that one? Well, it was a bit wobbly. It's off the bar, but it's not over. So 3:45 on the clock. There's still a score in it. This tie is still very much in the balance as Paul Asquith will kick off for Australia.
Gone 10.
Well, pinpoint accuracy from Asquith taken by Australia. Strong running here. Lucas out on the far side. Oh, tremendous try by Jesse Parry. He was superb tackle on the far side.
That's brilliant play, that in a very tight situation, you know. You're 7 points adrift, and Portugal. And eventually, it's a superb tackle there from David Matias.
Wait, red.
Chase was outstanding, wasn't he? That was a try-saving tackle, if ever there was one. Australia, though, have got the possession, but they've lost it. Now, Portugal, can they go the length? The show of the ball, brilliant, brilliant play here. Fantastic by Carl Murray. He's going to go the length, he's going to go under the post. What about that end-to-end stuff? But for me, Gavin Carley, that all goes back to the excellent defensive work of David Matias.
Well, they showed courage. I made the comment a little bit earlier that they were lazy in defence. They seemed very tired with that try from Luke Morahan, but they certainly picked themselves up. David Matias, and then ultimately that great run from Carl Murray. And it was touch and go because one of the players just had him by the jersey at the back, but he managed to slip away. Well, there'll be no problem for Pedro Leal with the conversion. Let's have a look at this then. He'll get through into a little bit of space. There's the grab. Oh, just managed to sneak away. Has a look around and sees that it's a clear path for him.
4.
Well, Carl Murray plays for the CDU Lisbon. A very experienced sevens players on the circuit. This is 11th event.
Back on.
20th try on the circuit for Carl Murray. 12 all. How about this in the bowl final? Keep an eye on that clock. 1 minute 40 for Australia. James Stannard's on the pitch for Australia. Ed Jenkins. Ed Jenkins takes the ball, well, almost out of play. In actual fact, it was out of play, and that's surprising for Ed Jenkins to make a mistake like that.
Yellow.
Well, he scored 2 tries in the last game he played, so he's looking potentially for another, which would be the winner. In fact, whoever scores next, if there is one, in normal time, will win this game.
Leal, the scrum half, well, he's overthrown that one. So just as Australia overthrew on the other line and Portugal scored, can Australia score? And yes, they can. So a mistake from each other's lineouts opens the door for Paul Asquith to go in for a try. And Asquith of the Southern Districts Club extends the lead.
Protect your own ball. One of the first things you've got to know how to do and make sure that you execute it, especially in a tight situation like this. And there was presence of mind there from Australia to make sure that they moved to the man who was in space. And an easy finish that then for Asquith.
Oh, James Stannard. Unlike him to miss that particular conversion. Now with 15 seconds on the clock, it's all about whether Portugal can get back the possession. Stannard.
That's about this kickoff too.
Taken by Portugal. A converted try will win the ball for Portugal. Australia, have they got possession there?
Got 2 people off their feet. Good red going forward, red ball. We have time.
Time for the scrum, says referee Rhys Thomas. Well,
8 red.
Can't you just admire this game? It's always in the balance. And when there's a bit of silverware on offer, just the tension increases a few notches.
Plus, of course, points on offer too. The important thing is part of the series, everybody gets points, you accumulate them over the 8-event series.
5.
Well, a ball win will give you 8 series points compared to the runners-up of 7, so not much differential, but for Portugal, it's required. Well, Australia, all they have to do is boot this ball out. Jesse Parry, he does, and that's the ball final, won by Australia over Portugal. A thrilling final, by 17 points to 12, and Michael O'Connor's team pick up their silverware on their second competition. Sorry, they were runners-up in the Gold Coast, of course, but they pick up some points as well. So the bowl final won by Australia, 17 points to 12 over Portugal. Gavin, there wasn't much in it, but Australia eventually just getting a little bit more possession with 44 passes completed, which got them into a situation to win that game.
Yep, they did make mistakes too, there's no question about it, but the thing is they pinned Portugal in their half, and they played straight in their face. Portugal, for my matter, played far too deeply, and I think that made it quite difficult for them. Plus, you know, missing tackles, and you pointed to that on the screen now, 100% right. You miss tackles, and inevitably you give away tries.
And I'm with Australia's captain, Ed Jenkins. Ed, it wasn't a perfect performance by any means. It hasn't been all weekend, but you do finish on a high.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's good to get that win, but as you said, probably wasn't the best performance. A bit upsetting, but you know, I guess we can take that win and move forward to next week.
You came here ranked second in the world with a great team on paper. What do you need to work on before Port Elizabeth next weekend?
Yeah, I guess our attack today wasn't that sharp, and you know, our defence as well. So pretty much, you know, you can cover across everything there. But you know, I think you know, the boys will do the work over the next week, and hopefully, you know, we can turn it around in Port Elizabeth.
Safe travels, Ed. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Well, just getting ready for the presentation to Australia, the bowl winning team. First of all, the officials. Saying, what a job. A special mention actually for all the volunteer officials throughout here. I was speaking to the young lady Mandy who was doing the accreditation. 14,000 people sit on her database. Imagine coordinating that lot. But this is what it's all about. It's about these young rugby players. If you fancy this sport, get in touch with your local union, wherever you are, your local rugby club. It's a fascinating sport. It's a brilliant sport for fitness, for health, and for fun. So plaudits for Con Foley. He goes through and accepts Jesse Parahi, Greg Jelyudev, Shannon Walker also up there, Nick Malouf, Paul Asquith, James Stannard, Lewis Holland, and a little trophy to go for all their efforts here at the Emirates Airlines. And Ed Jenkins, the captain, receives the applause of the supporters around the stadium. A nice bit of crystal to take back to the Australian Rugby Union.